And I worked on this idea with my son. He works at Singhi, and he and I were talking about this kind of new thing that he is facing in his consulting experience. So I kind of discussed with him. He keeps on saying, there's a new trend I'm observing. So why don't we work on it with me? It's in New York. It's in New York. Closer to Canadian border, near Toronto. So, Rochester. Can you please turn your cell phones off? How many of you are students here? And how many of you are faculty here? Okay. So whatever we ask students, and if they say something that is not approved by you, please forgive them. Let me ask the students, how many of you like to design your own curriculum? Like the syllabus and what should be taught in that class and something, at least participate in those. 2, 3, 4, now gradually people are not. So why do you like to have a say in the curriculum?
Specifically, since we're doing a post-graduation course-writing, I consider myself to be mature enough to understand what I want out of the course. So in consultation with the faculty, I would like to design my own course to come up with the best possible academic knowledge which I can bring over the next course. So that is precisely why I would like to design my own course. So as a stakeholder, so we have.
Can you turn that phone off for a moment? I get very distracted. So under the oversight of the faculty, you would like to have some. Okay. Anybody else? Yes.
We have different strengths and weaknesses in our students. So according to that, it's their design specifically choose how it is, because obviously different individuals have different strengths and they can come up with different combinations. So I think participation in that could help us much better, in a much better way.
Okay. And during the in-class performance, how much interaction do you like to have inside the class, in addition to the lecture that the faculty member gives?
So you can say put it at 40-60%, 60%
from the faculty, 40%.
Yes, being a monologue and probably a discussion, 40% class.
Okay. And how many of you would like to grade your own work? Give yourself a grade. You would grade yourself? Okay. You know, aside from the fact that people will inflate their own grades, there is some value to assessing. We are constantly assessing our own work in everything that we do. So when it comes to studies, we always give it to the mentor or the faculty member to do it. But increasingly, most consumers are getting interested in taking ownership of what they buy, when they buy it, how much they pay, and where they would like to buy it from. So that's the whole premise of this whole managing customer engagement. A lot of things that I'm going to talk about is not new. It has been there in the literature, it has been there in practice, but increasingly we are seeing customers taking ownership of their future. And a lot of times firms provide the product, firms decide where they will make it available, how much they're going to charge, but customers are increasingly saying that no, I'm not going to be a passive receiver of what firms give, but I would like to take part in that. So in some way, they engage themselves into their acquisition, consumptions, and disposal decision. So that's what, and the other thing is you can interrupt me anytime and you can ask questions. You don't have to wait until the whole presentation is over. If you want any clarifications, hopefully I'll be able to do it. It's a new area for me, and I'm trying to see if this area evolves into something as a new paradigm for marketing. So what I want to do is just basically describe what the concept of customer engagement is. So there are different terms. People talk about customer participation. Some scholars are writing as customer experience. But I thought I'll use this as customer engagement in the sense that customers actually get engaged in the entire process of consumption. I'll provide some examples or illustrations of customer engagement. And then I would like to make a distinction between customer engagement and customer orientation. Many of you know what customer orientation is. That's what Phil Kotler initially espoused, that, okay, find out what customers are looking for, find out what their sentiments are, what exactly they want. Then you take a detached view. The firms will take that as customer insight. In the morning, we heard about customer insight. So once the insight is received by the firm seems to know everything. Firm seems to know what kind of soap that they have to design, what kind of movies. Today we talked about it, movies that have to be produced. And then once that is all done, it gets launched into the market. And at that point, again, customer comes in and they decide whether or how much of the product is consumed. So that's kind of customer orientation. I'll give more examples of that. And I'd like to make a distinction between that approach where customer provides insight, firms produce the product, and make it available to customers compared to that customer engagement. And then, even though I'm introducing this topic of customer engagement, there is a continuum. In some industry, you will not see any participation from the consumers. And in the other extreme, you will see some industry, there is an extensive customer participation in the process. And then I use the traditional 4P to illustrate how things are moving. So customer engagement in product decision, so particularly product development, product design. Then customer engagement in pricing decision, where customers actually deciding how much they were willing to pay. Channels decision, where they will buy, whether it is an e-reader that they would like to read at home, or whether they would like to go to a brick and mortar or to the library to read something. So they will make those decisions. And finally, marketing communications, primarily the word of mouth, that is becoming the most dominant way for customers to receive information compared to traditional mass media that we have. And briefly, I'll conclude by a couple of things that what's going to be the implication of this new paradigm for the firms? How are they going to utilize this customer engagement for their own benefits? And then for those who are in academic area interested in research, what kind of concepts that they can work on? Okay. Okay. So the basic idea is customers, and the term actively is the key here. Customers do participate, they do consume, they pay a price and so on, but they actively interfere and participate in altering some or all aspects of company-provided marketing mix. So they may actually change the product themselves that the company provides. For example, we all know about protein shampoo. Customers take the shampoo, put some egg rings, and put it on their hair after they have mixed it. So customers are actually actively changing the product configuration that eventually Procter & Gamble or other companies will pick up and commercially make it available. So this concept is basically saying they will alter some or all aspects of company provided. So they do not have to change everything. They will change only a small thing, but they are actively participating in this thing. Now, what is the implication of this? And a lot of studies have looked into it. When customers engage themselves in the creation and consumption of the product, and firms incorporate those insights, then there is a tremendous benefit for the firm. It's not just an academic exercise. And this is a study that Forrester worked on. It's a white paper. It says 46% in the US improved customer satisfaction when they allow customers to participate or engage in the consumption process. Customer loyalty and retention in the US, loyalty is about 30%, and retention is 37% versus not allowing customers to participate. And there is new customer acquisition, about 25%, and a lot of times it improves operational efficiency, which means it reduces cost for the firm. So there are some documented benefits of allowing consumers to participate actively in the consumption process. Okay, why is it important for us, and why am I talking about this particular topic? We need to look at a little bit about the future generation who will become the largest consumers here in India and in the world. So this particular group is very likely to be actively engaged in what they will consume and how much they will pay and where they will consume and so on. Why is that? This is a study that looks at this millennial or Gen Ys, however you want to define them. They are adventurous and fearless. What does that mean? They will try new things. So they will not be afraid of opening up a computer or some electronics to try out things in the different ways. And they will take risks with new things. So they are not averse to taking and breaking things up or trying enterprise and promotions, etc. So norms will not pin them down. So they will not have to be passive consumers. And they are open-minded, independent, entrepreneurial. And the last point is important. They are technologically savvy. So they will be not afraid to try out electronic approaches and so on. Now, there are some downsides also about the millennium, and particularly in the United States, they earn less than their parents did at their age, which is contrast to India. So Indian millennials are earning a lot more, but in the United States, surprisingly, the new generation's average earning is lower than what their parents were earning on average with inflation and all.
You said we are the millennials here earn more, but is it inflation adjusted? Maybe?
I don't know. See, that's the thing. I mean, when I left India, the earning I had, and if I mention it to anyone today, they will think I'm below the poverty line. So, but that is true. Adjusted to, but I have not heard of the level of salaries that just people coming out of Indian school fresh, 22 years old. That time it wasn't that. So,
yes. A good question. Was it adjusted for inflation? This is where intuition comes in. If you go study for 6 years, you'll get the same result. The way the younger generation now can shell out 500 rupees a month, we put it, the way you buy smartphones at every change of model and edition, we can think about it. So I think even with adjusted for inflation, Indian millennials certainly do earn more money to afford a much higher lifestyle than the British students.
Yeah, and you have to also think about the previous generation's contributions. Our parents are not, I mean, you guys' parents are a lot more supportive of your consuming new things and buying new things and so on. My parents were like that. So they pay more for childcare and children. So the upshot of all of these things is only to show that this generation is likely to be more engaged in their consumption. So this segment will aggressively decide what they will buy and in what form, when they will buy it, so the purchase timing they will decide. They cannot just say this is available in a certain period of time, where they will buy it from and how much they will pay. So all the 4 P's are here, and they will make those decisions in some way. Okay? So I'm just going to provide some figures. In India, this is a group that will drive the direction of the economy. Why? The projected in 2021, the population is $464 million for this age group. It's bigger than the population of the United States. So that itself shows that that group is going to drive the economy of the future. And this group has a very high professional aspirations. So they would like to be in the management positions and probably the senior management positions. So they are very aspirational. So they are more dynamic in that sense. They'll play a lot. Women will play a larger role. So then you have additional consumers that are entering into the workforce and so on. And they would like to have some international exposures. And this is a quote from Hindu that says, India is set to become the youngest country in 2020. All over the world. So it will going to be the youngest population. Why am I talking about this? Is because that group is very likely to engage in their consumption process. So from the firm's perspective, they have to look at this customer engagement issue, without which they're going to miss out. So let's get some examples of it. And many of you are familiar with this. So Wikipedia, for example, entirely customer content provider. Everything, there is no specific hierarchy as to who is going to produce. The customers are collaborating and they are providing that knowledge input that they have. Linux, of course, you know, it's open source software. Anyone can jump in and improve or modify the software itself. Airtel, I was looking at it, this particular, they call it a My Plan scheme. You configure whatever your needs are and you decide on your own plan. So the customers are deciding what kind of product configurations that they want, and Airtel has already recognized this as a way to do it. They are not saying that these are the 5 plans, you pick one. They are saying, okay, this is the whole menu of options that you have. You configure and get the best depending on what your needs are. Have you heard of this Weight Watchers? Weight Watchers is obesity control kind of. It's a regime that the customers have to follow a set of things under the guidance of some nutritionist. So it's a weight loss program, but the customers exactly are going to decide when they will do the exercise, what kind of food they will eat within the parameters set by the company, Weight Watchers. So they are configuring. Not everyone is going to be eating the same thing, and at the same time, they are ordering all of those things. Home Depot is a do-it-yourself retailer. So Home Depot sells all this, all these parts and equipments and lumber, and you want to change your home furnishing and so on. So Home Depot will help you decide what is the most suitable thing, but you have to take it home, and you order, you put it together, and you provide. I talked about e-reader, and ELP is the other thing. And from the other side of the communication side, anytime I try to buy something or engage someone to do the work at home, I go to Yelp and find out what this customer, what this provider's rating is. Yelp is an independent provider of information or ratings of the vendor's quality of their service. So I will, if I want to go to a particular fitness center, I go to Yelp and say that, okay, this club membership is so much, and all the reviews come out and provide. I'm going to just show you this Starbucks crowdsourcing. Just the nature of the, can you see all this? Okay. So this is where you go as a customer of Starbucks and you can provide information. Just look at this, 43,764 product ideas came from customers in terms of coffee and espresso. And then you have 21,431 food ideas came from the customers, and so on and so forth. And 13,000 other product ideas came from. So if you go to Starbucks or if you have some product idea, go to this website, provide that suggestions to them, and I want to show you a few others as well. So these are the experience ideas, meaning they will also talk about the process. So they provide some ordering, payment, and pickup ideas, atmospheres, and locations. They provide ambience, designs, and so on. So they do all of that in the process. And these are the ideas in actions. Once these ideas are posted, Starbucks take into account, and these are the actual product or processes that they actually implemented based on the customer needs.
Sir, I don't know how these customizations have been made in general. And what I've observed is many a time what happens is, yes, this is one form in which customer engagement is put and new ideas come up. So my question is, suppose I as a customer, I customize, say, a generic product in my own way. But do you think marketers can generalize that as a product?
That's a good question. So the question is, in the morning there's this talk about scaling. So if your idea is so idiosyncratic, meaning it only applies to you, of course the firm will not be able to scale up to the point that they have a revenue, they have the profitability, and so on. So beyond this, they will test. So once the idea is there, they'll probably create a prototype. For example, in our university, there is a Starbucks. There is a constant testing of new ideas being taking place. So, customers will not know that those products are being tested, but they want to get a feel. So the customer insights, market research, all those things will continue. But the question is whether the firm or the manufacturer will take that into account and recreate their products and the product configuration. What you are saying is if it is only applying to you and nobody else, then of course there is no profitability.
So my question was because of decision making, they are still factoring all such ideas in their decision making. So on that line,
I'll talk a little bit about it. There is a concept called lead user. Lead users are at the front end of any product ideas and so on because simply they feel the rest of the market's demand much before the rest of the market feels. And if it is a truly lead user concept, then they'll try it out even without much success at that time because they will see, okay, eventually the market will pick up. Yes.
All the things you have shown where customer engagement is predominant is basically enabled by online business. So is there a correlation or is it applicable to other sectors?
No, I think so. Internet has enabled this in a much bigger scale because it has been going on, and there are some examples. I don't know if you know Kirloskar Farms. Kirloskar Farms got the idea of submersible farm, observing the farmers during the drought time, summer time. the water level will go down. And so what would the farmers do? They put a plank on it. Plank will float, and there is a flexible piping there, so that there is always a constant level of intake water levels. So that gave an idea of Kirloskar, and then it also was popularized in the United States to create this idea of submersible pump, where water would be pumped up to a level and then to the next level. So 2-3 stage pumps and all these things were manufactured, created, conceived after watching this idea that customers were trying to do. So a lot of products that we will see is customer induced, or at least customer thought about that.
Just one question for in the context of Starbucks. So the number of new ideas they receive, and how many of them are implemented? Is there any statistics?
I think that's the question that you are asking. If I have an idea with Starbucks, we would implement it right
So how
away.
many of them?
So
100
this-
out of 100, how many are actually implemented?
Right. So what they tend to do in the customer insight session, they were talking about imagination. After the data, that imagination is needed. Insight leads to data will only take us so far, and then the insights and imagination. So there is a technique that market researchers or marketing analytics people are doing. Is this? Have you done factor analysis by any chance? Okay, the factor analysis is done through actual rating scales to see correlations among different observations. So if you want safety, you will rate very high on airbag, you will rate very high on anti-lock brakes, you will rate very high on all the safety attributes. So factor analysis sees these correlations and combines them into a dimension called safety. Similarly, you have comfort, where you have a leather seat, you have all these things. There is increasingly interest in content analysis software, meaning that they will read the pattern of the words and the mentions and see whether the tastes are moving in a particular direction. So let's say low sugar is a trend. So a lot of these comments will come that will not immediately say that I want something with less sugar, but they will provide examples of certain things that indicate the firm that that is what the taste trend is going. Or if somebody is saying that, okay, richness of taste is again coming back. So a lot of people have tried all these watery drinks. Now they are saying, okay, I want really strong, thick coffee. So that trend will be there. So in that sense, because it's impossible to look at all of these comments and come up with 2, 3, 4, or 10 products, they'll have to see correlations across different things. And that technique is now available. So they look at keywords search that reflects a particular concept. For example, let's suppose in an Indian context, there is a trend towards, let's say, lighter clothes, as opposed to more colorful clothes, which was the traditional thing. So increasingly, people will provide those kinds of comments, and that should be a trend for the apparel person. Okay. So there are a few other examples that we have. Nike, they said, you will identify your shoes is made by you. So you can actually customize shoes online before ordering. If you want certain thickness, certain comfort, certain padding, etc. If you go to Starwood Hotels, which is the Sheraton hotels, if you travel regularly, so you're a frequent traveler for Starwood, they will customize your pillow based on your preferences, the room preferences prior to check-in. So when you check in, you will get that particular room, that particular pillow, and it's based on customer designs and preferences. But that point is very well taken. It's because of the internet. You will see more of this done from, because otherwise it's very difficult to implement it in a brick and mortar format and then physical exchange of information. So let me just theoretically just make the distinction between customer orientation. So all of you have learned this, that in a let's say in a new product context, you do initial market research. So that will be a few focus groups, that will be some surveys, or some prior secondary data that you might have. So this is where customers are engaged. So you get intercepted in the mall, and then they ask you some questions, then they fill out the survey, and you are an important person at that point in time. You provide that information. Now, what does the firm do? They learn about your preferences, your interests, and what kind of products or attributes that you're looking for. They will create a number of concepts and then choose one, and based on the concept testing. Sometimes they will customize. So based on certain segments, not everyone is looking for the same thing. So they will either create a product line or customize your product. And again, customer comes in when you commercialize the product. So during the test market or when it's actually launched, customers hopefully will come. If they don't come, the product is not successful. So this whole voice of the customer issue is an idea that came from the customer orientation. We have to listen to what customers are saying, but I'm in total control of producing the products and making it available. Yes.
So on this note, I would like to ask if we have examples where the customer engaged hasn't quite worked out in a way it was supposed to be, and kind of backfire as companies initiated, and the customer engagement didn't work out the way. And do we have any such examples?
Yeah. So, for example, I'll present a continuum of customer engagement. There are some conditions customer engagement will not work, particularly when, let's say, it's a highly sophisticated technical integrated design project. And today we heard that one of the speakers talk about Steve Jobs saying, and I have the quote here. It's one of the most overused quotes now. But there will be conditions where the firm will not allow customers to engage, tinker with the product, because they think they can produce the best option. And there are also other areas in marketing research, particularly when they have kept away from the customers. Have you heard of a product called Walkman, Sony?
Yes.
So Sony, that was a long time ago, before the MP3 and so on. So Sony tried to find out, ask customers what they're looking for. In the category name was portable stereo systems. They could not even visualize what that product was. They didn't know what it would be. So what Sony did was saying that I will design the prototype and then present it to the customers, and then they will understand what it is, and then I will collect some information. So a lot of times, even before the firm can provide as an example of those, because otherwise it will backfire. Yeah, as you rightly said, because customers will not be able to articulate what they're looking for. Okay. But otherwise, as I said, the firm controls the kind of development, segmentation, and customization, and price promotion decisions, etc. The customer engagement model is kind of more democratic, meaning that everyone can say, do things the way they want. Not everything will be successful. So customers feel the need to, I will have some examples. Let's suppose I want to read a book, so or learn about certain things. And then they look around what the options are, meaning how can I get this book, which is just recently in print, I want to do it. And they can customize certain things, meaning they can read chapter by chapter and so on, or they can buy download the whole thing, or they can acquire it and then consume it. So customers are involved in this entire process from need, feeling the need, all the way up to the consumption. And then firms have to learn from the consumers at what are the touch points at which customers are getting engaged, and then make decisions. I'm not excluding the role of the firm. Firms have to create the product in a commercial way so that it is scaled up and available for a lot of people. But should they or should they not look at what customers are doing? So that's the basic premise that I'm trying to make. So what are the elements of the customer engagement model? Is that customers have to solve a problem. So we are facing a problem. So selection of the business school is a problem that we faced. You looked around and made a decision. So let's take this. This is a home improvement that standard of off-the-shelf commercial products will not provide. So the bed or the dresser or any other thing that is not suitable for my room size, or it doesn't match with the decor of the room or the house that I have. So the customer creates the solution, but mostly with the help of the firm. So the firm does have a role in a sense that Home Depot, they have a design center. They will sit with you and decide, okay, this is the wall color that will go best with you. This is the configuration of your desk, study, and this is the configuration of your bed. So they will do that for you. Then customer decides when to acquire. So should I go to the actual physical store or should I buy it online? So they are part of the thing will be bought physically, others will be online. And then they will decide what to pay, for example. So they may come into different payment arrangements. Not everyone will pay the same thing, but somebody will pay in installment, somebody will pay totally upfront. So they will make the decision. And then they will communicate the experience to the rest of the market, and you all know that. Go to any hotel website, and they are saying all of these things, and based on that, you're making this that you say. And the final thing is they create these customer communities. So they will form a community that will be a center, almost like a club or a political group. They will provide endorsed products and have their voices known to the firms. Okay, now the question is, let's look at a little bit more in a more detailed way, because I'm not here to promote this customer engagement as a concept. You should not take it as if that is the so one extreme is Apple, and we talked about it. So what do they have? They have rigid product design. So only Apple will design the product. Have you ever been able to open up an iPhone? You will not be able to. So they designed it in such a way that if you try to do it, it will not work. So that's an integrated way that they have designed. And they have fixed prices based on where you buy. So either you buy with your, I don't know how it works here, but in the United States, if you buy it through AT&T, you have to buy AT&T plan, and then they will give some discount on the handset. Other time you can buy it regularly through online and so on. And there are fixed channels. There are not too many ways you can buy, and there are disciplined marketing communication. As today, Mr. Kampani, he was saying that he is one of the most rigid, Steve Jobs is, about what he will let consumers do. So this is again the quote that was mentioned this morning. We do no market research, meaning they don't even collect information in the front end. It is overstated, I think. Our goal is to design, develop, and bring to market the great products. We figured out what we want. We trust, as a consequence of that, people will like them. So he is presumptuous. He is also saying, I know what you want. I'll provide it, and I think you will like it. And as a consequence, we'll make some money. That's what we get paid for. So it's an extremely arrogant view of the customers and the marketers. And I don't think he meant it this way, but he's saying, okay, I know how to design a product. Let me do it. No one else can do it. So that's one extreme view. So this is where we will not see this type of situation. We will not see customer engagement. And the other side is the Wikipedia. So The firm participation is not. There is no firm here that can alter the content or change the designs, etc. Customer participation is absolute. So customers provide all the information. So if tomorrow you want to write something about Tagore, you can go post it. This is the unique information I have about Tagore's childhood or whatever it is, and that will be the content that will be provided in there. And so this is the code. Contrast that used to be the victors wrote history. The winners will write the history. Now everyone gets a chance. So everyone will be allowed to write something and make a difference in this. Ironically, Jimmy Wales posted about Wikipedia that Jimmy Wales is the founder of Wikipedia and all these things. So he wrote a paragraph. Immediately it was brought down by the rest of the people that, listen, you are not the founder, you just had an idea, all this other thing. So that's the customer engagement that we are talking about. They're putting the founder down, that you are overclaiming your role in this particular time.
Can you give a few examples of both?
Both meaning somewhere in between?
No, both. This one, few examples, and this one, few examples. Company or products?
So there will be quite a few. For example, let's suppose if you're talking about highly sophisticated defense equipment or research labs, anywhere that needs a high level of science, physics, etc. So, for example, let's say, what would be a defense company here? Lockheed Martin. Lockheed Martin will not let customers meddle with their thing. Or Boeing will probably not let anything. So in some cases, they will not allow firms to do it. And also those are traditional companies. Those are not things like information, IT-based companies, internet-based companies, and so on. I'll give you some other examples if that falls in between.
The banks maybe from that
Banks have been a lot more responsive to the customers. So, for example, if they will say, okay, they only offer 5-year fixed deposit, for example. And you might say, okay, that's not suitable for me. I can keep the money only for 3 years, so increasingly, I think banks are listening to that kind of thing. So in the United States, we have these variable term deposits. So you can decide how long you want to keep. Similarly, the mortgage also, we have, let's say, it used to be 10-year, 15-year, 30 years mortgages. So now they're saying, okay, you can pick any years that you want to give, and we will recalculate what the financial.
Say that if a product has use of technology, then the customization is minimal to customer side. And if it is not a technology-based product, then you can have customer customizing like shoe bags or, for example, something. But when it comes to technology, it is equipment or phones. Then you may not have because it's more of technology. We say that.
It depends on how you define technology. If internet is a technology, that will enable a lot of customer engagement. But if you're looking about traditional technology, which is very rigid, it's process oriented, very inflexible, then you will see less and less of customer engagement. But it is not just technology; it is also the company's approach to managing, like what their strategy should be. Starbucks is a highly open company. You will not see it in Dunkin' Donuts, for example. They're the competitor of Starbucks. They will not listen and receive this 14,000. Dunkin' Donuts, which is kind of their share is much smaller than Starbucks, but still they are about they have no this crowdsourcing.
This is a company policy. There is lots of issues. I mean, the right gentleman in the back said it's highly technical, they will not outsource and this and that. Now, there is a lot of things. the gentleman in front mentioned Lockheed Martin. Yes, Lockheed Martin will listen to the clients. So that's a niche segment of 5 people, 5 customers. Boeing would listen. Somebody making the space shuttle would listen to 1 customer. Okay. So, yeah, for your example, probably would be answer that came to your head. But in reality, it's the company policy. Like Dunkin' Donuts, as you say. The matter of company policy, they're not good. And Dunkin' Donuts might tell you that everybody who's crowdsourcing is a thief. We're talking about corporate social responsibility. We're taking ideas from people and you're making products and selling it, not giving it for free. Okay? So there are a lot of issues in this.
Yeah, the intellectual property issues are there, but I am not talking about listening to customers versus not listening to customers. Listening to customers was the traditional model. I'm not saying there is a tremendous sophistication in marketing research techniques and so on. This is
Customer design.
it's customer engaging themselves in altering, let's say, the product. If they're changing where they would consume, how much they will pay, so that the internet has enabled a lot. For example, all these eBays and auctions and so on that we have. It's not just listening to customers. A Lockheed Martin definitely will have to listen to the defense department when they are designing stealth bombers and so on.
Yes, that's right. Actually, taking another point of view is difference between product and service. Because when you are talking about intelligence, you have took some example like Wikipedia or even for Starbucks ideas. There's typically ideas. You can propose some new kind of coffee, but maybe with others, the Starbucks ideas website, you can propose new usage or when you are experimenting with Starbucks. So it's maybe more service and it's maybe why it's easiest to do this on the internet. And increasing internet, increasing service at the same time may be very helpful to develop consumer engagement more than of product. It would be very hard if I decide to create my own iPhone or something just for me. Right, especially to the cost of very expensive.
Stefan, I think that's the purpose of the under what condition we will see more, under what conditions we. So there are at least 2 hypotheses here. One is saying you are likely to see customer engagement more in the service sector than you will see in the manufacturing sector. And we can test it out through academic paper and so on. So other you're saying that, okay, when there are high technology components in the product, we will see less of things.
I get to differ because I remember in one instance, maybe like 5-10 years back, I think it was one of the laboratories in Univ region, probably the Abeek laboratories, they designed like a hugely parallel machine. It was all built on using Linux components. It was very highly customized. I don't remember who were the customers. So even high technology things have been designed by customers.
Right. Linux is a high technology, so are all the internet applications.
Actually, sir, I think apart from internet, if we consider the HNIs, high network intelligence, when they want specifically in other sectors also we see the customization. But when internet comes down, then only we can go down to the layers, especially the below the pyramid, and then this application.
Yeah, that is exactly true. And in the morning there was someone talking about the bottom of the pyramid and so on. You see the experimentation that goes on at the bottom of the pyramid because the resources are constrained. So they modify things. They will try to get different usages of it. The rickshaw gets transformed into some cover used for transportation of other things. You will see the carts that are used for shipping things and so on. So that is what I'm talking about, that when a manufacturer gives a product that is standard commercial and customers then engage themselves to suit their own purposes, and that will tend to happen more when there are less and less of resources and need for more. So that is another hypothesis. If you want to study where the extent of customer engagement there, informally in India, the bottom of the pyramid, there is a tremendous amount of experimentation that goes on, and people also.
So on the extreme right, would Wikipedia have allowed 100% customer participation had it been a popular organization?
Good question. I don't know. So you're saying if this has to be made a profitable organization, it probably would not have. But the question is, a lot of these internet startups are not profitable at that point in time. So if Wikipedia starts generating revenue through advertising, so let's suppose I type in Aristotle. I want to know what it is, and then let's assume that there is all this Greek cruise that is going from there. And if that is how they can generate a revenue model, then like all other internet startup, which does not have a direct impact on the revenue, then they might be able to do it. But they have refrained from it. So far, it's a non-for-profit company. But it's a tremendous penetration. So if somebody wanted, like, we're talking about Facebook, Wikipedia every time, either I'm doing Google search or going to Wikipedia for any academic presentation writing and so on. So, okay, again, just not to make the customer engagement that I'm proposing that everyone should do it. So I created this kind of a scenario where in one case, of course, Apple always comes up, is a total control. And then there are things like farm guides. Farm provides some guidance. So Weight Watchers will provide that this is the nutritional content that you need to have. This is the most fat content you should consume. This is the mile that you should walk and all those things. But then you decide when you want to do the yoga, when you want to do some other things. So the customer will adapt and the farm provides the guidance. So this is a partnership between the farm. Then there are things called reinvention. So meaning that the commercial products are available, but the customers are altering physically. For example, NCR makes these cash registers that you see in McDonald's and so on. So NCR noticed one thing that during the busy time, these McDonald's franchise, they're breaking the thing, making it shorter, and instead of 4 counters, they're putting in 6 counters so that they generate more revenue. So NCR created this modular model, so you can actually break it up and change from a 4 counter cash register to 6. So now they have this modular model. Video game, we all know, so there are all these children, young kids, they're constantly trying out new interactive video games and so on. And finally, we have YouTube, Yelp, Wikipedia, with entirely customer-provided contents that we be able to have. So as researchers, we need to somehow theoretically find out what is the underlying dimension that is leading to this distinction. Is it just company control, or is it some underlying phenomenon of the types of products, or is it the extent to which customers are sophisticated? So those are few who are in the academic research. They may be able to look at this and see, under what set of conditions do we see this kind of. So this is speculation. I've not done any empirical research on this. So I'm kind of suggesting these as the potential conditions for customer engagement. One, as one of you mentioned, when the tastes are fragmented, each person will have somewhat different of a taste. Then I will try to change my product that suits me. So when it requires a unique solution, so if my hair condition is so unique, if you cannot get any shampoo in the market that helps me, so I will try out different things that will solve my problem in a unique way. So I will tend to say this. Services, who said that? So there's one person who said you tend to see more customer engagement with the service. Why? It's an experiential product. So my experience of in a bank, my experience with my insurance company, or with the hotel I stay, I will tend to see more of these alterations. Modular products and products can be separated out in these different parts. There will be more customer engagement. How much time do I have? How long does this go on?
3 o'clock.
3 o'clock.
We started, did not start on
No, we started at 2, little after 2. So customer sophistication might have a positive impact of this. Customers seen as independent of the firm. So customers will have to have some credibility for other people to trust them. That okay, this person is trying it, this person is making this comment, and existence of them. This is finally going to be the future. It's, as I said, it's the customer club. That will be it. So these are some customer engagement in product design, some examples of it. User-generated ideas. There is a professor, there is a this person from MIT who introduced this user-generated idea of using lead user analysis. If you get a chance, you should read his book called Eric Von Hippel. Eric E-R-I-C, okay, Von Hippel, V-O-N-H-I-P-P-E-L. He is at MIT and he introduced this whole idea. That was his dissertation to look at customer economics. So some of these examples come from his work. So mountain bikes are developed by these Abeek bikers. So they were standard bikes, but they altered the shock absorbers and the wheels and diameters and so on. Protein shampoo is entirely developed by you were probably not born, but when we were little, I saw women putting a little bit of egg rinse and they would put it into the regular shampoo and so on. 3M introduced the surgical threads. They saw the nurses changing the thread and putting on the body of the patients. Submersible pump I talked about, interactive video game, and this is an interesting one. So there was a hypertension or blood pressure drugs called minoxidil. So people saw the moment they were taking it, they started growing hair, which was a side effect. And then Upjohn analyzed it chemically and introduced this hair growth drug. So now we have this Rogaine for men, Rogaine for women. So he put it as this hair growth. Yes.
So then in that case, following this, why isn't it happening that chemotherapy always has side effects of vomiting and hair loss? Why are new people not coming up with what same, having the same effect but without no side effects?
See, here the side effect was bad for hypertension, but it is good for balding hair. So they're saying, okay, if this is the side effect, is there a way I could use it?
So they developed a new drug without the side effects.
Then they developed a new prescription drug for hair growth.
So same things should apply for cancer also.
Cancer, you are saying that we need to find a cure for it.
No, develop another drug giving the same end result as chemotherapy without the side effects.
Yeah, that is a standard regular product development they have to do. I'm pretty sure they're trying to reduce the side effect. It will probably take years. But they have proceeded in a different way. They are targeting the cells much better with the chemotherapy now than they used to 10 years ago and so on. So then that's okay. This is kind of the idea as to who should we focus on, which customers are valuable to me. And I introduced and borrowed it from one of those. He said, get the lead users to provide those ideas. Who are the lead users? They are currently upset with whatever is available. So they are unhappy. So focus is not towards satisfied customers. Focus is on customers who are not satisfied. There are certain problems that they are not solving. And they need the solution now. So they are the ones, relative to the rest of the market, they will come, that's where the product growth will take place. But I'm right in the beginning of the product life cycle, and I'm facing it now. Rest of the market don't even know that whether the So if you think of smartphones going back many years, only a certain group of customers felt that it will be valuable to them in this. Now everyone, college professors also have a cell phone or smartphone. And they will derive disproportionately greater benefit from that. So try to target those who are unhappy, who is feeling the need for the product, the farmers who faces the need when the drought is, and once the solution is received, they will develop much greater benefit than the rest of the market. So they have the incentive to create this solution for themselves, and if the firms can look at them, apart from the IP issue, then that will be really beneficial for them.
So this is one. Also, how useful the support will be will depend on the culture that we try out. Because look at the Russians, they don't want to make their own decision, they want somebody to make it. Looking at their history, that is what has been, and I've seen it firsthand. So in a society like that, you probably want to get customer engagement. To do a survey, you have to do it illegally under the table. So whereas in the US, of course, we know that this works. In India, again, it will probably be age-based. I mean, the younger generation, as you pointed out, is older. They cry a lot also, a lot more than we did. How? The younger generation that are more unhappy than we were. So, like you said, the one that tries to give attention to that, so they're good at it. Sorry. And the Japanese, again, are not very extrovert. So, maybe
I don't want to paint the entire country in the same brush. So, personally, I feel when there are resource constraints, people will experiment a lot more. This customer engagement issue that I'm talking about has been there in India probably last 50, 60 years.
Yeah.
Particularly when things were impoverished, things were not there. I just recently read an article in one remote village, they have no way to generate electricity. So they are using husk, which is thing to create the energy, and they can run their mills and so on. And so nobody has taught them how to do it. They figured it out. They had a problem of generating electricity, and they have been able to solve it. Any village that you go, and I particularly keep an eye on things, what they're trying to do, there's always something that they're doing it. They're hanging something from somewhere, adding something here, putting a shade on top, and so that's extreme examples of customer engagement. And I think customer engagement will be a lot more in India, regardless of the age, than you would see when there are more dominant players like IBM and so on in the United States. Whether it will be commercially viable or not, we do not know. Somebody will have to take it and yes. Let's talk a little bit about the pricing decision where customers. And it's still not very predominant. But at one extreme, we have this posted price. You go to the store, and this is the price you have. Either you take it or leave it. So on one hand, it's very clear what the value of the product is, how much you have to pay. So it's relatively easy. And I just went to a sari shop with my wife the other day. I have no idea what the price is. I mean, the person is changing the quality of the sarees. Prices are going up, going down. I have no way to figure out what those things are. And if you buy a card in the United States, it's like that. There's no way of knowing what the right price is. So they're constantly changing. So a lot of times people think this is the best pricing policy. There should be one price, the firm decides, and you take it. Otherwise, we leave. What is the downside of this? What is the negative of this? When you have just one price, either you accept it or you refuse it. All of you have taken the basic economics course?
There's a loss of potential.
There's a loss of potential learning. Excellent. Exactly. So you're not capitalizing on consumer surplus and so on. So a single uniform prices excludes the people for whom the price is higher than their reservation and so on. So this is what is causing problems. So firms are losing a lot of revenue. So in a kind of strange way, customer participation has allowed people to price discriminate. So the firms can alter, but they are not doing it. Customers may take part in it. So the customized pricing has been there. So for different product lines, you're charging different prices for different levels for the customers and so on. Now, this is what's happening here. It's called the market making prices. So any price that will allow the exchange to take place, and firms will participate in that. I'm not excluding anything, not including anything. So you decide how much you want to pay, and the market will clear at that price. So from B2C, we have this name your own price options. So the price line, are you familiar with that? So the way price line works, if you're not familiar, is let's suppose you want to book a hotel. So the product is opaque. You will not know what you're going to get. But you say, okay, I will pay 8,000 rupees for one night or 5,000 rupees, whatever it is. And Priceline will locate a hotel with broad parameters that we have, let's say 3-star, 4-star, whatever it is. And once they make an offer, you have to buy it. So as long as it's 5,000, so you provide your credit card and you bid for it. So if they say no, it's not acceptable, then you have an option of raising your price a little. So in a way, it's an auction, but it's a blind auction. You do not know what you're going to get, so they call it like opaque products. So here, customers are, at least they have control over how much they're going to go and what point they will abandon. So it's kind of a mix of total price discrimination and the posted price that will, beyond which the firm will not go down and the consumer will not go up in those cases. Now in the C2C and B2C market, we have the eBay. So you want to sell one of your furnitures and you post it, and you have eBay there. So you decide what to. So this is the two customers making negotiations. So they are participating in the entire pricing negotiations and so on. And I don't know if you have Craigslist. So Craigslist is an individual exchange. So individual customers. So let's suppose I have used television I want to sell. So I just post it on Craigslist. I provide the descriptions, and I have to claim certain things that it runs and the picture quality is okay. And then somebody will say, okay, I agree to buy it, and that person will come to my house, and it's only disclosed, my house address is only disclosed that the person exists, and they come and take delivery of it. So the entire transaction is outside of the norm of the firm. And now we have all these price matching guarantees, price comparison tools. So I go to the store. So let's suppose I see a food processor is being sold at $250, Hamilton Beach food processor, and I scan the barcode, and these softwares of the price comparison tools will say, okay, you are now in Target. Walmart is selling the same brand at 30% cheaper. This is the price that we will go. And Walmart stands guarantees that particular price. So now it's customers are totally in control of how much they will pay, how much they will travel from one place to another. You know, there is a switching cost, and from one store you have to drive 10 miles and so on. So they have to. But the point here is that customers are increasingly getting sophisticated, and for that we have to thank internet. So there's. So from price, let's go to the channel, and this is where the technology effect is the strongest. Increasingly, it's now becoming the term of omni-channel. One channel selling is gone of the history. So nobody just goes to the store or just buys on the internet. So there are multiple channels that have. So let me read this out from Daniel Drucker saying, retailers will continue to realize that they need to connect with users on multiple channels or touch points, simultaneously or even interchangeably. In 2014, more retailers will give customers the ability to interact and complete transactions on their own terms. In other words, if a customer wants to view an item online, purchase it using their phone, return it by dropping by the store, they can do so smooth and in a seamless way. So they are constantly traveling across different channels, and that's going to be the future of this. And these are some examples of mobile and customer channel decisions. The 73% customers plan to use their mobile in 2014 holiday, this holiday or Christmas season. And why do they use it? This is a study that they want to find deals. While 97% wants to find where things are on sale, and then researching the products, accessing coupons, and finding stores and so on. So they are actively participating in this. Yeah, I think this is the customer experience. This is the US. This Christmas.
It just brings me to think how the rural and urban divide in India would be. On one side, we are saying that by the next maybe couple of years, 3 years or so, India is going to have the highest number of using population. But majority of them are going to be from the tier 1 or 2 city and not from the rural areas, particularly if you're about smartphones. So then the marketers will probably be losing out on a great opportunity, which is the rural market.
How do you suggest that the mobile use might influence the rural market?
So I'm saying if the accessibility of smartphones would be as available to the rural consumers as it would be for the urban consumers, it will be a greater opportunity for marketers.
I agree. There is no question. It's not just market meaning buying things. So, for example, they want to buy fertilizers, they want to check prices of different grains and then so on. That could be.
I mean, until about last week, there was this Xiaomi mobile. Which was being sold at like 4 pennies, if I could use the word. But now they are banned from selling because they had some technology, infringement that they did. So they are banned from selling in India. Otherwise, had that been a viable model, they could have probably sold and penetrated the rural population as well. But that's not happening. So I think when you talk about the use of the internet, the use of the smartphones, we are somewhere looking only at the urban population and ignoring the population, which I'm sure many of the Indian operating marketers are not going to and cannot afford to make.
Actually, just continuing to that, I did a little bit of case study as part of my curriculum about the e-chocos by ITC, and they had a very good like e-mandi kind of thing where they went to rural places and negotiated things at least in the money. They said they claimed it was better. Yeah, they call it. It was quite penetrating.
So your claim is that what we are talking about is of lesser relevance for the rural market when this technology-enabled gadgets are not available. I have to agree. And so the question is,
if you say bottom of the pyramid is where there's so much of potential and so much of money and so much of possibilities, whether we think of social services or from a profitability point of view. That sector or that segment is not going to be able to use the mobile technology with the urban population.
A small additional to this. Recently, I had the opportunity to meet the person in Mart working with rural marketing. 65% of the Indian rural population are now using smartphones. It's an amazing figure. Two, in the rural areas, Mart has developed portable water system which will be available as an RO process to give to different customers, their clients, at a price of around 10 paise per liter. NGOs and foreign funds have already been there, they are working on it. And they're planning to do the same thing in the eastern part of the country as well.
10% what?
10% per liter. Potable water, whatever our water. Yes. They're working on it. But I am a person who is working on that project also, trying to follow that. So it is, rural market is simple. So what you are saying, the customer connect you try to see, sir.
Yeah.
The only thing I can say
It's
here,
much diversified in present day, if you are unaware of, because they're not used to this. I mean, for the common part, Shakti woman, for the purpose, which has been done by HUL, is part of the program, which is part of the customer engagement program which has been done in the Indian market only as well, for that purpose.
Let me add, I think some of the points are very detailed, but I believe that smartphone / mobile penetration is double and triple down years, and there is a lot of things that they do with their phones. There are like lots of marketers pushing promotions and things like that. And what I think will take time is some of these activities that is sort of topping the list in Western markets will not see the light of the day very soon in Indian markets, primarily because of literacy rates. The phones that they use in rural markets are voice enabled, so they're not really doing any kind of research on their phones. There's, of course, there's e-kiosks being set up by ITC, that's different, that's on the computer and stuff like that, but on the phone, I don't think it's based on a little bit of my research, because of the literacy levels, they will definitely not be finding deals or comparing prices. But I think marketers have the opportunity of pushing products via ads or pushing promotional offers, via voice enabled technology. So I think definitely
yeah, I fully agree. These are extremely US centric. These finding deals and all those things. It's probably, but there'll be another set of things that will. But if as the smartphone availability increases, that part there is nothing wanted. The firms will have to take interest in it and come up with a proper price that they may make money, or NGOs has to step in and provide that. So that's like a social thing. So, but this is because I presented it in front of some journalists in India, and they were also kind of suggesting, how is this going to help the regular farmers in terms of getting the right receipts, right grains, or so instead of this, they will probably say, okay, I can buy fertilizer much cheaper somewhere else, and so on. So it will be a different menu of things.
So there are a few things happening when we're talking about the smartphone examples. One is the smartphone prices are getting more and more inexpensive every day. Then in the rural market, there's a deep penetration of microfinance. So a lot of farmers take up these kind of things on a microfinance kind of a model. And third is a lot of apps and content are getting developed in vernacular languages.
Regional language.
Yeah, regional languages. So with these people in these belts have a much better opportunity to market.
How many of you buy using mobile phones, like actual purchases? So it has not penetrated that much even in the urban.
Why using phones?
With the new apps, they are saying that the youngsters teach the seniors how to use smartphones. So even when we talk about the urban market, there's a segment where smartphone, when we talk about a grandfather's or father's name, there's a smartphone I would rather not use, rather I use commerce.
That's the point. But in rural areas, they're doing it now.
And that's the younger generation and the demographics becoming more skewed towards the younger population. And
It's generation divide even.
The urban market, the rural market is also not similar or uniform in capitalism models, because we still have the census 2011, 69% of Indians live in the villages, and the village community in India is diverse. It's contrasting paradigms from north to south, east to west. So we can't say that the smartphone users are quite sparse population dependent on the geographical tenure and all. So all these statistics is true, trying to develop, but at the same time, pockets of underdevelopment is still very much there in Gujarat.
I think we agree with her because there are villages and places which are otherwise termed as being, a part of the rural population or part of the rural areas. But still, if you really go and see, so many of the families, they are probably the richest in that area, and they have so much of money to spend. Purely for the simple fact that at least one member from each family is living outside India. The amount of money they get inside to spend here, it's a lot. At the same time, there are people living in the so-called urban areas who don't have as much money to spend on these kind of things. So, again, India is always a classic piece of point. And that's why I said
Urban poverty is as much as reality as rural affluence. Because in Haryana and Punjab, there are villages which are called NRI villages. And they own Mercedes cars quite often.
Which are common parts of I cannot expect nothing of.
Exactly.
I didn't bring up the rural and urban.
We always think about it.
The diversity is there.
I think that it's in the now.
Yeah, anyway, Gujarat also
Gujarat?
Okay, I have a few more slides with combination. Then we can open it up. No, maybe the urban-rural divide is an artificial distinction. We do not need to divide it. We should divide it on other dimensions on which
Consumption capacity should be the focus.
The board should be purchasing power parity, which is very important nowadays. Maybe one of the parameters to define them.
Like real estate prices in urban areas is the cutting. Most important.
what you guys are talking about is a classic segmentation problem. There is no single dimension something we can define. Okay, so this is kind of some additional examples where we consume things and make movies. Of course, in the US, again, I have only US examples. So really, actually going to the movie theater and watching movies is pretty much history now. Very few people go. I do movie research, but I look at the box office and so on. But only a few movies are really successful, and others are not. So they are using the placeholder and music. No more YouTube and so on. It's all Spotify, which is the listing of movies and so on. Kindle is very popular, and grocery shopping is catching up quite a bit. And this is one thing that came up in the IBM CNN news. Why online grocery shopping is the next big thing in Indian e-commerce, probably in the grocery. Is there anyone who does online grocery shopping? No, it's probably when this is a prediction they're saying that it might become the future of the things, like prescription of drugs and so on. So marketing communication is additionally the mass media or regular interpersonal communications. So that word of mouth thing has got a tremendously. EL provides the service of providing ratings of the vendors. So you can pretty much pick and choose which one you want. So there is a listing of things that you have. And these are, so if you go for a trip, the TripAdvisor is one that provides hundreds of feedbacks from previous hotel stays or travelers on there. Zagat also provides for restaurants ratings, and Zagat provides also certifications. So you go to a fancy restaurant, it will say it's Zagat approved restaurant. So it's kind of a valid. Now, how customers, these are again why they do it, because of trust. Because it's not coming from the company. Customers are providing these feedbacks. It's much more reliable because they have nothing to. They're not generating financial benefits from it. And this is how these different sites are rated. All I'm saying here is that out of the 4 P's, one of the communication P's is now almost taken over by the word of mouth. And Aditya knows about it. She has done research on this. And how do the customers respond? So let's suppose you're sitting on the airplane, or your flight gets cancelled or delayed, etc. You get upset. You post something on the Twitter saying that this American Airlines stinks. I'm sitting there, and so on. And these are the response time. So the moment you post it on the Twitter, you will receive an email saying, "We are extremely sorry. This is what happened. We can give you 400 points to travel in the future as a benefit." And look at Alaska Air, 1 minute, jet to 2 minutes, and US Air, within 4 minutes you're getting a response back because they're taking this customer response so seriously in this process. Okay, what are the implications for the companies? Of course, the one way to handle it is, these customers will do whatever they want. This is really not our business to listen to everything or modify everything based on what they are trying to do. But they really need to partner. As in many of these examples that we showed, that they have accepted this as a way of doing business. So this is going to be a future, at least within the short run, that customers will engage themselves actively and segment customers based on the decisions. So in the product development side, or big users, so you cannot listen to or look at every product experimentation. So you have to make price validators versus price sensitive customers. Of course, you can, these auctions sites are exactly doing that. Channels, the technology orientations find out, as we said, the ownership of technology will divide this, who will use what. And within communications, there's a lot of academic research is now going on, particularly in the social network area. They're looking at two things. Let's suppose you are connected with 500 of your friends, and another person is connected with 300 of their friends on Facebook. But they're saying that 500, the node with 500 friends may not be as influential because of the opinion leadership. Some people listen to much better. So that's something we'll have to see. Which customers are the more influential in changing views versus how many people they are connected with. So that's, and of course you can modify the station and so on. Now, those of you in the academics, and this is really right area for doing research. And these are some basic research questions. You have to break it down in a much narrower level to do any research. Why do some customers engage and others do not? So many of these hypotheses came up. So technology, sophistication, service industry. What are the conditions for customer dominance, firm dominance, and both customers and firms equally participate in this? So if somehow I do some basic industry survey research, you will be able to feed an ecology of firms that are doing it. What are disruptive roles of technology in the customer engagement or in roles? And so far we have seen technology is kind of helping customers in getting more engaged. And there sometimes people are engaging in product, changing product design, but they are not engaging in other three parts, marketing mix variables and so on, or vice versa. So there may be greater engagement in pricing in certain areas, but very little engagement in product. So those kinds of things. And some features. So that's all I have. If there are any other remaining questions, I can said the key is ready. So I don't want to be between the T and you. So okay, thank you very much. Thank you. Let's go up on that. Good afternoon. Do we have the presenters for room 0101, this room? All of us here? We'll do a small name check. Dr. Shubhrato Bhaduri is not here. Mrs. Nilanjana Sinha, not here. Mr. Samrat Roy and Dr. Kumarjit Mandal, not here. Yeah. If you are. Okay. Mrs. Nivedita Paul and Mr. Sudip Patra. Okay. Oh, sorry. Dr. Subit Sen is not. He's not here in the sense. Yes. Oh, he's not representing. Okay. You representing on his behalf. Okay, okay. What about Mr. Shaunak Roy? You're not presenting. Do we have here Mr. Samrat Roy and Dr. Kumarjit Mandal? So, that's the other room. Both. No issues. You can present one here and then you can go on.
I don't know which one will be happy for the solving for these last year.
So you can present there first. Oh, you can
We start at 5 minutes.
Yeah, you can. You may like to load your presentations.